Here we go back again with another SAFC Fan TV on this lovely Thursday night. And we have someone who's logging in for a few minutes until Jacob can make it to the show. Wayne, how's your week gone?
Not too bad, mate, not too bad. It's been a good week on the Sunderland front after a bit of a week of disappointment, but this week's been fab, so I'm see what comments we've got to make before Jacob rocks up.
A lot of happy Macans kicking about. Two wins, 6 points, and Dodds' army rolls on. We've got Mike. Mike, how are you doing, mate?
Yeah, much the same. Much improved mood now, you know. It's 2 wins. Well, I say improved mood. I'm glad for the wins. I'm not sure about the manager situation, but I'm sure we'll go into that.
Definitely, yes. And also, the one and only Jack. Jack, looking fresh-faced and bushy-tailed. How are you doing?
Yeah, good. I think everybody's had a spring in the step, haven't they, over the results? Obviously, we're going to talk about it. Yeah, it's been a good week, and hopefully it can continue. It's Thursday. We're getting towards the weekend, and Christmas is around the corner, so you've got to try and be positive, haven't you?
Are you popping down to Bristol at the weekend? I'm
not actually, no. I didn't go to Millwall either, so I feel like I'm missing out 2 in a row. I'm doing the 2 Christmas ones, Hull and Rotherham. A little bit closer, obviously. Yorkshire's not too bad to get to. Bristol's a bit of a stinker. So, no, I'm giving it a dodge. I went to Bristol last year, Bristol away. It was a really good trip, that first away day of the season. But giving it a miss on Saturday.
All changed since then. We had Sims and Stewart up front who scored goals that day, wasn't it, Jack?
Yes, I think Stewart got 2 and Sims got 1, or the other way around. We had Alex Neil as manager. Yeah, lots changed since then.
How can it happen in 12 months? So much changes. Only at Sunderland. It's always at Sunderland. Anyway, we'll go to Wayne first because he might be popping off soon. Wayne, you know, we got the whole head coach situation at the moment, all up in the air with Tony Mowbray gone. We thought somebody might have been lined up to come in. Clearly not. Dodds has took over. He's done amazingly well over the last 2 games. And I was watching some of the interviews after the Leeds match, and the lads seem to be right behind Dodds. What's your whole take on the head coach situation, and who do you fancy?
Well, to be honest with you, it looks like it's turning into a little bit of a shit show, doesn't it? Like, that's typical Sunderland, really. We started off before the game on Tuesday thinking that Will Still was going to come in. There was rumours that he was going to be in the stadium on Tuesday night. That didn't happen. And since then, he's still a favourite, but there's loads of rumours flying about him apparently using us as a bit of a bargaining tool to get some more money for Rems in January. Apparently he's gone behind their back, and he contacted us. So, but that's all he said. But that's the rumours flying about. And now today you find out that I think it's Michael Beale who's come from nowhere in the joint favourite, second favourite, which, to be honest with you, I didn't really want him. So, given you know the betting scenario, I think if Dodds wins on Saturday, for me, I'd give him the job to the end of the season. There's no point to point to somebody if Michael Beale is going to be second, third choice. If the one's still, they might as well wait until the summer when he can leave there and then get out of the one and give Dodds to then. You know, the players seem to be playing for him. They're all happy. You know, there's been a lot of a massive improvement in 2 performances since he took charge, and they all seem to be behind him. So why not?
Right, okay. Anyway, on the chat, we've got about 67 people. That can just my laptop from 1960s just winding up slowly there now. 67 people. So, you know, thank you for joining in. And don't forget to give us a thumbs up during this video if you're enjoying the content. So, Jack, we'll go to you next. What's your thoughts on Dodds overall? I mean, who's the man who you'd like to see come in out of all the people available? Obviously, they've got people from other clubs that probably won't pay to sort of take out the contracts. And again, Dodds, if he wins on Saturday, does he deserve a chance?
Well, I must admit, if you told us last week, you know, there's potential that Dodds could be there till the end of the season, I would have said categorically no chance. It was well documented when he took over as caretaker after Lee Johnson. He didn't do the best of jobs. It didn't go too well. Our results were poor. Our performances weren't great. And everybody was sort of saying, I don't want Dodds in, but I must admit, he has done well, hasn't he? You know, we're going to come on to the last 2 games, but been very impressed. Much more impressed than I was a year and a half ago or 2 years ago, whenever it was that he was last caretaker manager. So yeah, he has been impressive. Got the substitutions right, got the tactics right, formation and everything was spot on, and produced 2 really good wins. Do I want him as caretaker manager for the rest of the season? No, I would ideally like somebody else to come in. I mean, my man was Hellberg, but it looks like that's gone. So maybe Will Still would be next one. I would be more than happy to go with Will Still, but that looks like it might be off the cards for now. So So I'm not sure who I would go for, Terry. I mean, at the minute, there's no outstanding candidate. Normally, our fans are all shouting for the one name. We've got the one person that we want. That's not really the case this year, is it? So, yeah, bit of a difficult one, bit of a funny one. I wouldn't be totally against him giving it to the end of the season, but I would prefer to have our main candidate and have a man in, preferably before Coventry.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same as you. Last week, Dodds took in charge, and I was like, I was one of his biggest critics just for the fact that last time he was in charge, nothing happened, and I just thought he was just going to be a yes man. But I tell you what it is, he's completely changed my whole, my mind on the whole situation. Right, we'll go to the live chat now. We do have 26 likes at this moment in time. And I suppose if I like it, we'll have 27. There we go. 83 people watching. And on the live chat at this moment, we have, if I can get it working properly, DJ Sizzler Watson. Good evening, boys. What a week it's been. Exactly. Mickey Mack, evening, everybody. Ryan McCormick's on there, says good evening. Emma Hansen, our very own Emma Hansen. Mickey Mack, Terry and his Jim Jams. I don't give a monkeys. You're correct. I love being nice and comfortable. I bought these from Sainsbury's. You get 10% off and a lovely soft to your skin. I love a nice bar. I'm a bit dodgy that way with materials. I like a nice material. Anyway, nothing to do with football, so we'll move on. Jeff says, Mickey Matt, he's got a smoking jacket on here. I've got my nice Sunderland top on as well. And then we've got Sexy Ian. Apparently he's sexy, so he says. Jimmy says, meeting some of the board last Monday. All right. Jeff says, Dodds all the way. Knows the Players League. Loves the club. Give him a go. Mickey Matt says, I'm still wearing my hat. I'm getting warm now as well. And Charlie McAvey says, good evening, lads. So we'll move on to Mike. Mike, you like an opinion on this situation. Dodds or somebody new. I heard today from my source, and like I say, it's only hearsay. I don't know if it's true or not, that Speakman doesn't want Will Steele to bring all of his backroom staff over. That's the stumbling block at this moment in time. So what's your thoughts on that and also on Mr. Dodds?
I think if a manager's coming in, he should have the rights to change his backroom staff. Whether we like it as fans or not, it's what comes with. You can't expect him to do the quality job he's going to do without him appointing his own staff. Dodds, I do like. I wouldn't like to see him leave the club. And I don't think he would, if he took over, if he took the charge of us, it'd only be to the end of the season. And then would they just axe him after that? So Hellberg's gone. He was announced as the new manager for Hammarby, I think it was. Yeah, Hammarby. The one that was mentioned in the chat there is that Jimmy Thielen, who's a Swedish manager, who I was just looking at there, but doesn't look very high caliber, really. It's like us going for a really high-performing second division manager. It doesn't really add up for me, that one. So it's difficult because some of the odds that are on there, I mean, they can't go off the Sky Bet odds because Kim Hellberg's still 10-1 as fourth favourite on Sky Bet, and he's took a job. So go figure. It's a roll of the dice now, but I just hope they get it sorted soon. It feels like it was an absolute show that they've got rid of him with nothing in mind, nothing even half set in stone. They just seem to be shooting out for anything now.
Wayne, you want to be on?
I just on Dodds as well. I was reading something the other day. I think I might have been even on the Saturday program. I think Nick Barnes was saying about Dodds and when Alex Neil was here, and Dodds does a lot of the work. He did it for Mowbray as well. A lot of the coaching and setting the teams up behind the scenes for the weekend. And Mowbray said he didn't really do much of the coaching. It was all down with Dodds. And now Alex Neil has gone to Stoke, and look what's happened because he hasn't got Dodds with him. And didn't he try and take Dodds to Stoke with him when he first went there? So obviously Dodds has got something about him, so he, as a coach, he's a cracking coach. So you can see now he's kind of moving on to the next step.
But Dodds did work with Job at Birmingham and obviously with Speakman. It says Ian Banks says, I'm with Wayne. I wouldn't be against Dodds staying until the end of the season. It doesn't appear to be an outstanding candidate, so we need to take our time and appoint the right man, which is fair enough. DJ Sizzler Watson makes an interesting point. When Dodds took over from Lee Johnson, Michael Dodds wasn't even working with the first team squad, so I didn't realise that as well. So fair enough. He's learned. He's only a young lad in his 30s, I think he is, so he's still learning. He must have been, almost early 30s then. Emma says, I was very surprised he gave Pritchard a full match. That's the thing. We were all thinking Stu Speakman, maybe with Pritchard not starting, but clearly it was down to Mowbray because Dodds has come out and he's been his own man, changed the team around after one game, and what a couple of results he's done. So, we'll leave that on the back burner for the moment. We'll move on to the West Bromwich Albion game. Now, when Dodds took over West Bromwich Albion, I kind of feared the worst next 2 games. I thought no points up to 2. My heart was given like victories, but my head was thinking, we're going to get beat here. The heads are going to be down. Dodds is going to come in, not know what he's doing, but he's completely proved me wrong. We'll go straight on to Jack. Jack, what was your thoughts on the whole West Bromwich Albion situation and the game itself?
Yeah, I mean, I'm the same as you, Terry. I think when we did our predictions last week, I think I only said 1 out of 6 points. I'm correct as I'm wrong, but I think I've said a draw against West Brom, and I thought Leeds might actually nick it against us. So done much, much better, improved compared to what I thought. And yeah, I mean, I think it's easy to say the difference was Pritchard. I don't think it was solely the difference, but I do think he had a big impact on the performance. I mean, you can look at it this way. I think both of the assists came from Pritchard, if I'm not wrong, on that. So I mean, yeah, I mean, fantastic, really. But I just think it was just nice to see a Sunderland team perform. Do you know what I mean? Like, and turning up and I mean, the result is always the most important thing. But we've seen in the last few weeks 4 or 5 really, really poor performances, haven't we? And flat and no energy and nothing on the ball. It was nice to see a Sunderland team playing at a tempo and actually going for the opposition. And I felt we were dominant for pretty much the majority of the whole game. The only time I slightly felt under any pressure from West Brom, they had a 15-minute spell before half-time. It's maybe not even 15 minutes, maybe 5 or 10 minutes before half-time where they're threatened. And then obviously they went gung-ho after the goal, didn't they? When they were 2-0 down the through, everything, all caution to the wind. And typical Sunderland it would have been if we'd conceded, even though we absolutely battered them and deserved to win the game. It would have been just us to concede a sloppy goal at 2-2. But no thoroughly deserved performance. I thought we had some really standout players. I thought Dan Neil was excellent against West Brom, not just the brilliant goal that he took. I thought Dan Ballard had a really good game. And I thought that I just thought it was just nice to see a Sunderland team that were energetic. Well, obviously, there was plenty of poor refereeing decisions, which we'll come on to. But no, deserved winning. It was just nice to get back to winning ways.
Do you think Dodds made much of a change for that game? I know he brought Job back in. I think Job was the striker. He had a perfectly good goal offside as well. So do you think he made too many to tinker a little bit?
I think, yeah. I think that was the, it was tinkered, wasn't it? I think, Bellingham going up front, I think just give us that, I hate to say focal point because he's not an out-and-out striker, but he did give us another option. We've been playing without a striker for so long. It was nice to have a different option in behind. He is a little bit more physical. He's very athletic, Bellingham. He's great at running in behind and carrying the ball and stretching defenders. You don't understand how much of an important job that is for a striker, even just stretching a defender and pulling the defender out of position. Like you say, Terry had a perfectly good goal not allowed, which was a terrible decision. So yeah, I just thought it was a bit more. We were a bit more tactically aware as well. I thought we did better with the ball, and I thought we were better defensively. I mean, we're going to come on to Leeds in a second. We were much better defensively against Leeds, but I just thought tactically he got it a little bit. We were a little bit more. How can I put it? Astute with the ball, and we did more with the ball, and we defended better when we didn't have it. Exactly.
We'll go back to the chat. We've got 100-odd people on the chat, so don't forget to give us a thumbs up if you're enjoying the content. Much appreciated. Got David Joplin on there, says good evening. Edward Young, hi, enjoying the talk. Horton Dave, what's Dean Smith up to? Laid back Jack, he's just taken the job at MLS. All right. Jeff, good point, Wayne. Horton says thank you. Liam Brennan, even lads, if Dodds is still in charge on Saturday, and again, it goes really well, he does have a chance of keeping the job. I think he does. Liam says definitely. We've got Trevor Dudlin says all 3 goals were all set up by Pritchard, 3 assists, having a good run of form. Charlie McAvea for a change in looking forward to Saturday's game for a while. Yes. Jeff, who thinks Trey Hume has improved loads? I think he's come on definitely. Tom Wallace, Dodds coach Jude Bellingham from the age of 7. And we have seen how he has turned out. Now he's looking with Jude at 23. Other young players he will get us fully in the playoffs. Job, of course, doing well with us. 007. Ellison, new manager latest. Does it matter whoever comes in? Going to do exactly what Speakman wants anyway. Carter McDonald. Nixon saying Dodds is unlikely to be offered the job. And Thilden is being interviewed. I don't even know who this bloke is, to be honest. Anyway. Tom Wallace says Dodds is 3-1. So I tell you what, anyway, we'll go to Wayne Wake and let us know who this bloke is and also talk a bit about the West Brom match.
I'm same as you. Tell you, I've never even heard of him. To tell you the truth, never even heard of him. So, Mike will probably do some research as we speak before when we come to Mike and get on the case. But I've never ever heard of him, Mike. So, but you know, the West Brom game I thought was, like Jack's just been saying, tactically wise, we were much better. We stopped this inverted fullback bollocks where Huggins kept getting inside and getting caught out of the position that they played fullback. They were bombing forward to help Robertson Clark, which was a massive difference. Interestingly, we didn't go with a striker as well. You know, Joe was up there, so tweaks that way. But I just think we set up a lot more solid, and the formation worked, and the substitutions, as it proved, changed the game. And Pritchard coming on to assist at the right time, not just 60 minutes sticking 4 subs on and Ganford. I mean, I don't like to criticise Tony Mowbray too much for the job he's done, but just these last 2 games have just shown the difference in tactics and where it gets you. So I thought we were really, really good. Fully deserved the win against West Brom, against what we thought was going to be a really, really hard game. We kind of nullified their threat, to be fair. And, you know, I thought we were really, really good and well worthy of the job.
Sorry, Wayne. Do you think, like Tony Mowbray, since the Middlesbrough game, do you think he's starting to sort of drift off and it's taken a lot off him? You know, he seems to have like just changed a little bit with his mannerisms, and like he seems to be like a little bit picky. So do you think it's just ever since the Middlesbrough game, it sort of fell away for a little bit from him?
I think, to be honest with you, it hasn't been right since the summer. When them reports came out that they were trying to replace him with Farrell, apparently behind the scenes it's been a bit frosty and hasn't been the same. And then the game before he was sacked, when he come out and just about, you know, practically criticised the model about the strikers. I think that's the crux of it, where he's just getting frustrated with how things are, and he's been taking the brunt of it from the fans and everybody, while Speakman and co just sit back in the background. So I don't think it's been right all season, if I'm honest, but I think that it just came to a head after the Millwall game, and probably enough's enough. I mean, his demeanour, his interviews as well, you can see there was a difference in him.
Yeah, definitely. Mike, we'll go to you next, but before we go into the West Brom game, just tell me about this manager, Jimmy who?
This Jimmy Thielen, I was going to say Thielen. I don't know if it's pronounced like that. It's Swedish. So he was a lower division manager in Sweden, and he worked his way up, and he was put in charge of Elfsborg in 2017, 2018. But he's been there since. Now, the only thing, his record is 207 matches, 98 wins, 53 draws, 56 losses. Really good. He took them from a mid-table team up to almost winning the league last season. On the last day, they lost a game and they just came in second. So it sounds great on paper. The other thing to note, though, is he's in contract with them till the end of December 2025. So if we're on the understanding that we're not willing to buy out a manager, I think you can write that one off personally.
May as well.
So,
right.
But yeah.
And also, Mike, what's your thoughts on the whole Pritchard situation with Mowbray? Why isn't Pritchard been getting the game? And all of a sudden he comes in the game with Dodds and he just changes, you know?
I don't know if it is all Speakman, like we say, and maybe it is, and maybe Speakman's just not give that talk to Dodds, or he said, listen, you're caretaker manager, just do what you can till we get someone in charge. So he's not really got the same restrictions Mowbray has, possibly. But, I mean, Pritchard's proven himself. We even saw when he was coming on when Mowbray was in charge, when he came on at half-time, the effort the lad put in, he deserved a start, and it just never seemed to happen for some reason. But, I mean, last 2 games proved a point. So if Dodds is still in charge for this next game, if Pritchard starts, then we know that he's got a little bit more freedom than Mowbray has by the look of it.
Definitely. So what was your thoughts on the West Brom game then?
Superb. I actually I think I predicted a draw for that one and a win for Leeds. So I'm glad to be wrong on the positive for a change.
I thought you predicted defeat.
Did I say defeat? I don't think I did. I think I said draw. I'm never that negative. Somebody will have watched it. Somebody will have watched the videos. But yeah, it was really good. What I liked more, I mean, obviously going forward, getting goals, we all love that. But what I loved more than anything is the defense for both games, but mainly for the West Brom game, the defense looks so much more confident and in charge. I wasn't as nervous. For some reason, they just looked more disciplined. 09, Ballard, everything together. It looked, even when they were on the counter-attack, they looked like, oh, they've got this covered. And I was actually quite confident in them, which is rare. So I was impressed with the way, whatever happened in training the week before, they've had a good talk and they've done well in that one.
Definitely. Right. Wayne, do you want to say good night?
See you later. Thank you very much. Hit the like button. We'll see you later.
See you later.
Cheers,
See you later, Wayne, mate.
Don't forget, we are sponsored by Toffs, as you can see on the screen there. There's, I forget we even know what Toff stands for. I'm sure someone will tell us in the chat. I'm sure. I know Jack knows what Toff stands for, don't you, Jack?
What is the official football something store?
The old football, isn't it? The old football something. That's it, right? Something anyway. I'm sure
Like that.
Wayne will put it in the chat anyway. We'll go to Jacob. Jacob, where have you been?
Nightmare coming back from work today, mate. Yeah, a lot of traffic, mate. But yeah, obviously I can't use my phone whilst in the motor. So yeah, don't condone that for anyone. But yeah, I'm here now and happy to talk everything Sunderland AFC, mate.
Before we move on to the West Brom game, what's your thoughts on the managerial situation and Dodds' situation?
Well, to be honest, Mike Dodds, if that's his audition from the 2 home games that we've seen, then he's passed it with flying colours for him to get the job for the time being. Whether the board decides to give it to the end of the season, I think the fans will back that decision. To be honest, I think the players know him well. The players want to play under him. The players have taken to his ideas. They know the way how he works, considering he was around the club before during Mowbray's tenure. But yeah, Mike Dodds comes across as a sound guy, knows his stuff, knows how to set up teams tactically, and knows how to change things if they're not working, which is something that Mowbray didn't do towards the end of his tenure. But yeah, Dodds tactically spot on Tuesday night against Leeds, and the same against West Brom. And if he was to be offered the job right now for a short-term basis, I'd back it. To be honest, the manager situation itself, I think obviously they may, with the recent 2 results, I think it was obviously going to be the norm that the club are going to take more time in terms of deciding, because of the good reaction the players have had to Dodds' methods since coming in as caretaker. But I'm not worried at all, to be honest, and I back us to go and get a decent result at Bristol at the weekend with Doddsy at the helm.
So the West Brom game, he made a change. He brought Job in. I'm not sure if he made any other changes now. I can't quite think off the top of my head. Did you see a massive difference in the side between Mowbray and Dodds on Saturday?
Well, I think with the likes of Job coming back in, I think he did need that sort of rest away at Millwall. He'd been playing a lot of minutes this season. He's still only a young lad as well, but him coming in, and I think the main confidence boost he gave Job was just to get in the box more. You know, being in and around the box, always look to be on the end of crosses coming in, be there, right place, right time, which is exactly what he did Tuesday, and also exactly what he did on Saturday. He should have really had 2 in 2 if it wasn't for probably the worst offside decision I've seen given against us in a long while. How the linesman can give that as an offside decision, and I mean, I think he may have flagged for Roberts instead, for Roberts was interfering with play or something, which is absolutely ludicrous. It was no way interference with play Roberts was in terms of where he was positioned. Job got the finish. And yeah, he's just into putting him up front. I think obviously he did that earlier on in the season, that Rotherham game where he scored twice, but I think that's the way forward now. But I think the key change Doddsy's done was bringing in that extra defender on Tuesday against Leeds, which the whole team took to, and it won us the game over time when we brought that extra midfielder on.
Who was your man of the match on Saturday, Jacob? Sorry.
Man of the match Saturday, Trey Hume. Absolutely fantastic. Another brilliant challenge he put in. I think it was in the first 45 minutes where they broke and he just clattered the West Brom geezer, almost sent him flying into Rosettes. But yeah, the best thing about Trey, you know, he can play as an extra centre half as well. He's got pace at fullback. He can bust a gut to get into space when we're on the counter attack. And yeah, he's just the overall defender to have at this club at this moment in time. And he can play on both sides. That's the best thing about him.
I think Trey, yeah, definitely been improving over the last few games. But we'll go back to the chat. We got Carter McDowell, Nixon saying Dodds is unlikely to be offered the job. We have that one. Then we've got Jimmy Nesbitt, Trey Hume, tackles like Kevin Ball. He did some marvellous challenges during the week. Then we got next to Tom Wallace, who was Sunderland's player of the season so far. Hume, Clark or Ballard, Carter McDowell again. I think the plan was to replace Mowbray in the summer, but they haven't seen the reaction from the fans. Saw the reaction from the fans, which is obvious. We've seen that. Definitely. Tom Wallace says 600 combo compensation for Will Still. Definitely. And we got Emma says, can we say a big happy birthday? Yes. We Phillies, happy birthday today. We Phillies 60 today. He's officially an old man. Happy birthday, Philly lad. Hope you're having a good day. Yes, yes.
Do we have to sing?
What?
Do we have to sing?
You can if you want.
Definitely not.
The Bristolian Mac says, good evening, Macums, a gentle folk here. And also we have Audrey Metcalf says, happy birthday to wee Philly. Yes, happy birthday, Philly. We'll go back to the West Brom match quickly, Jack. What was your thoughts on the officials?
Yeah, another shocking night, well, afternoon, shall we say, for the officials. Jacob's already touched on it, a horrendous offside decision. He was 1.5 yards on. No excuse for the linesman, fourth official, whatever you want to call him. He's standing directly in line with it. You can clearly see that the West Brom defenders playing him on. Luckily, the only positive is that it didn't cost us the game, but it could have. I thought we could have had a penalty as well in the first half. Patrick Roberts is dancing through. Yeah, he sort of goes down slightly what you would class as easily, but he's running quickly and he's only a slight lad. All it's going to take when you're running at that sort of pace is a knock. And I did think he got a knock. People say, well, you could have stayed on your feet. He was looking for it. But I think if there's a knock when someone's running at a quick pace in the box and it's enough to take you down, I think it's a penalty. So in my opinion, we should have had that. But we also got a little bit lucky as well, because I've looked at the Dan Ballard one on the halfway line with Josh Madger. I don't think it's deliberately bad, but I think the way he's lunged, it's a bit of a clumsy lunge into the tackle. On another day, that could have been a red.
I was going to say, yes, on the two, the Pritchard elbow in the face and the Dan Ballard, it was one more red than the other. Were they both red or were just yellows? What's your thoughts on both of them?
I'd actually forgotten about the Pritchard one, but I'm pleased you brought it up, because now that I've seen it, now that I have been reminded of it, it was a red. The lad's gone in. He's made no attempt to get the ball. He's thrashed an elbow into Pritchard's face. So, yeah, that was. And potentially debatable penalty at the last minute with Luke O'Nien going through. So I don't think that was. But, you know, of the major decisions in the game, that the referee got it badly, badly wrong, as they have done regularly. But the only positive thing is, I say, we still managed to get the 3 points. So that's the only positive, that it didn't cost us the game, because it would have been even more furious if we'd had another poor refereeing display that had cost us points.
Who was your man of the match as well, Jack?
Well, I would have said Hume, but I like to say somebody different. Jacob's already said Hume, so I'll go Pritchard. When he come on, he changed the game, didn't he? Got the 2 assists. He was that bit of quality in the final third, wasn't he? You know what I mean? He's just got that knack of playing that killer pass or that killer assist, and you really recognise when he come on and how much of an impact he made in the final third. So I would probably give it to him, but other than that, probably Hume, like Jacob says.
Thank you. Back on the chat, got over 50 likes. Don't forget to give us the thumbs up. Smash the thumbs up now. Try and get 100 likes if possible. We got Ben Rowland says, hello, I'm doing fine. Thank you, Ben. We got Woodsy on there. We've also got Tom Wallace. Great results for the Sunderland ladies again last night. Are doing well. Sunderland ladies, aren't they? So, Mike, what was your thoughts on the officials on Saturday, and also quickly about the 2 red card instances that could have been?
No surprise at the officials. They've been terrible all season, haven't they? So, the linesman to call that offside, that was the worst one, I think. Obviously, any ref can miss an elbow and stuff like that, and it does look horrendous when you watch a replay, but anyone can miss that slight moment and not give that call. But the linesman was the side of where he could see a player before he saw Job, so there was no reason for that whatsoever. So it's one of those things that we know the standard referee in this league, and we know sometimes it's in our favour and sometimes it's against. I mean, this was more in our favour than against, I think, especially with the penalty call, etc. So, you know, and I think, yeah, it was, you know, the Leeds game was very similar. I think things went in our favour with that. So,
who was your man of the match anyway, Mike?
Just to be different for the other two, both great players. I'd have gone Dan Neil, not for his goal, but just every time he's on the ball, he looks like he wants to make something happen. And if you've not got Pritchard on the pitch, he's the man I'm looking at to turn things around, make a run, look for a gap, and yeah, he's just inspirational. So
happy days. Jacob, why are the referees so poor in this division?
If I knew the answer to that question, Terry, I'd bottle and sell it and throw it in the sea in Roker.
Was he the worst referee you've seen so far this season, or officials, the joint officials?
Worst officials I've seen. I thought the ref. I've definitely seen worse. I mean, people would say he got, like you said, the Ballard thing and the Pritchard decision wrong. But yeah, I think we've seen a lot worse refs. I think it was just the fourth official that was just on that side, the right-hand side, the one who disallowed the Bellingham goal. I think, yeah, a disgrace. No.
Right, thank you. We're moving on to the Leeds game. So, after that lovely 2-1 win, we thought, I was the same. I had no confidence at all going to the Leeds game. Leeds played 7 matches. The last 7, they got 19 points out of possible 21. The only saving grace was, are we meeting Leeds on the best possible, moment in time when a lot of the players were under the weather, a bit of flu around the camp, injuries. So it was that kind of saving grace, but they're a quality team. You got like Dan James, you got Somerville, with loads of others there as well, like a poo. So we'll move on to Jack. Jack, what was your thoughts on the Leeds on the chain when you saw the team news? Were you completely surprised with the team news?
I was, yeah, because I don't know about anybody else, but we're always in the pub when the team news comes through now before kickoff, and I was trying to work it out, and I looked and I added up the defenders, and I went, well, he must have gone 5 at the back here because the 3 centre backs playing. He's got them all playing, but then I think what he did was, and it's not been sort of. It's not been negative to do this. I think sometimes you've got to recognise the opposition's strengths. And in my opinion, there's no harm in doing that. It's not negative to realise that Leeds United are a good team. They were Premier League last season. They've come down. They've got more money. Not probably, in my opinion, they have got a better squad than us. That doesn't mean you can't win the game. So I thought it was good from Dodds, because what he did is he completely negated their threat, didn't he? I mean, you've mentioned that the players, Dan James, he's lightning quick. If you play the high line and you let him get space in behind, he'll torture you. Somerville's, he's a top player. He's a Premier League player, probably playing in the Champions League. He's a good player. That Nonto, he's a decent player as well. Do you know what I mean? So Leeds have got a big threat in the final third, but I don't think it's negative to realise that and set your team up, even though you're the home team. Set your team up to say, right, okay, you're stronger than us, but we feel we can still win the game. And I thought Dodds got it absolutely spot on. We restricted them completely, and actually the better chances in the game fell our way, didn't they? Do you know what I mean? I mean, that was a stunning save from their keeper from the corner. Flicking header, it's going in. He gets a tip on it and tips it on the post. On another day, he tips it in, but unfortunately, it didn't go for us. I think we've hit the woodwork a lot recently, haven't we? I don't know about anybody else, but it seems like we're hitting the woodwork once or twice every game. So hopefully that changes. And then just when you're thinking, well, it's looking like a 0-0, we pop up and we get the goal. Fantastic. I mean, a little bit of luck. It bobbled around a little bit before I come to Bellingham, but he was alert. He reacted. He gets his head on it. And really, I felt like we were the better team throughout the 90 minutes. And I thought it was a deserved 3 points. It was scrappy. It was scrappy. It was scruffy, but excellent 3 points. And Dodds really marshalled us to stop their threat. And we were still creating chances ourselves, and we got a really, really, really good win.
Yeah, Mike, does that show Dodds' intelligence to do that? I've never seen Tony Mowbray do that before, so it just shows he's got a little bit of something about him to sort of to change the lineup to stop Leeds attacking and also have the ability to to put enough, like they even start Pritchard, and he got 90 minutes of Pritchard, so it proves he can do 90 minutes as well.
I was just happy with changed formation. I was beginning to think we were a foosball table and our lads were stuck on metal poles in the same formation every single game. So it was nice to see that adaptation. And we all know we can play without an out-and-out striker. And the fact that he pulled Bellingham back like next to Dan Neil and stuff like that, and that shows his depth of how much he can play. And yeah, we Jack just nailed it on the head. We marshalled it really well. We knew they were a big threat. And yeah, the whole time, I mean, you were all probably the same as me, nail biting all the way to 90 minutes, but I don't think they completely dominated us. I think we had some good control of the ball and control of the game. So I was very impressed, and it's nice to see somebody adapt to the incoming team and not just same formation, 6 subs at halftime and try and change the game around. It was good to see it tactically.
Mike, do you think Farker was on drugs when that interview after the game?
Oh, well, the excuse train that he came out with, I think it was about 6 or 7 excuses we logged there. They parked the bus and all this. The rest were on our side. And yeah, it was It was very amateurish, I think, of him to go through the whole list of excuses for Leeds.
Definitely, yes. And we go back to the chat. We got Tam says 2-0 to the under-18s. That's decent. And we've got Nick Quinn. I like Dodds. We have a poor track record. Crosby, Ricky, etc. Give them the job, then they have to sack them. He's good at what he does. Leave him where he is. Fair comment. We've got Jim Nesbitt. Leeds are top of the charts for scoring in the first 15 minutes plus. The first team to score has 75% chance of winning. So sound tactics. And Conrad Tank says Sunderland should stick to English/British managers, coaches. Not worth it to risk to unproven coaches from abroad. Again, everyone's entitled to opinion. It's a fair comment. We got Jacob. Jacob, the game at Leeds. I saw you at home on Tuesday against Leeds. When you saw the team, were you surprised? And when you watched the game, the tactics were superb.
Absolutely. The one decision I backed was bringing in Seal to make it a back three. I think based like what Jack and Michael said, based on the opposition, I think it was the right decision to do that, considering the pace that Leeds had in the final third. I thought Seal playing as the third centre half, I think, made a hell of a difference. That's definitely the best performance I've seen from him since we signed him in the summer. Jason Seal, I think definitely he's a centre half that's better playing in a back three. I think all I've seen him so far is when he's in a four. I think when he's in a four, he can be exposed by pace at times. But I think it's still very early days. I think the more games he plays will boost his confidence more. And people thought it was five at the back, but watching the game, it felt more like Hume and Huggins were playing as extra wingers, basically wing backs. As they get, I mean, they have got pace down the flanks to hurt fullbacks on the opposition, and particularly Niall Huggins. You know, when he beats his man and finds room to run into, he can exploit that. Trey Hume can attack and defend as well. You know what you're going to get with Trey Hume, but yeah, the decision bringing in Pritchard was the right one, to be honest. Experience for big games like this. The one I didn't get, however, was Barr. I thought that was a little bit scary. I thought Barr coming in, I wasn't really backing it, to be honest. I thought he may have started a sheesh in the front three and left Roberts on the bench, but yeah, Barr right now it's just not happening for him at the minute. You know, he's played all over the pitch so far this season. You know, centre of midfield, played on the left, played on the right, sort of played like a number 10 at times as well, even for 45 minutes from that disastrous game at home to Bury, played up front for a brief period because I think Mowbray thought he was decent at winning headers in the air. But yeah, overall I thought tactically, in terms of coping with the threat Leeds had in the final third with the likes of, you know, Somerville, James on the other side and Rutter up front, we coped wonderfully. And yeah, it was an all-round tactical display, but Roberts coming on at the right time changed the game completely, and also Ekwa as well. The fact that he sacrificed the centre half and brought on an extra midfielder to really stretch Leeds, I thought that was the changing point in the game. And also it was a clean sheet as well. And I think that's, with the players we've got available, I think that's the way going forward. Dodds will play. He will forget that we're playing a team that are not as good as Leeds in Bristol on Saturday. He will start, I think, with a back three. And then when Bristol are a little bit stretched, and if the game is, you know, having a few tired legs, he'll throw the likes of a Roberts or an Ekwa on to exploit the tired legs in their side.
Right, Jack, you wanted to be in before?
Yeah, just wanted to give a bit of praise to Huggins and Hume as well, you know, because I thought they stayed so tight, didn't they? You know what I mean? It was like, I wouldn't say they were man-marking the Leeds wingers, but they were extremely tight and they denied them space. And I think that's something you've got to give credit for, because you look at Leeds' scoring records and how their attacking threat. We've been, I wouldn't say poor defensively this season, but we haven't been what you would class as a top six team. Let's be honest, we're much better going forward than we are at the back. So to come up against Leeds and show the discipline that was showed, you know what I mean? Every player knew the role, they stayed They stayed tight. They were strong in the tackle when they needed to be. They didn't get, tracked or changed out of position. And one other thing as well, we mentioned the base from the middle. I thought Bellingham sort of in that advanced role was good from the press as well. His athleticism is going to work for us in that role within certain games because he's athletic, he can get up and down, he can press from the front. And, the opposition defenders are going to worry in that role if he nicks the ball because he's quick himself. Do you know what I mean? So you need if you realise and you're coming up against an opposition that are going to have more of the ball than you have to press from the front, and that was one of the advantages of Bellingham as well, his athleticism to get up and down the pitch. You need somebody that's strong and athletic in that role. So tactically, like we say, spot on from Dodds, and he's done himself every chance. Will he get the role or not? I personally don't know. I don't know how many times the caretaker manager's got the role and gone on to do well after he's had it. I'm not sure the stats on that. I don't think it's many. But he's done himself no harm. He's given himself the best chance, and we'll go to Bristol City on Saturday and see what happens.
The comments from Paggard and Convert Tank are both fair to do with Arsene Wenger. Tam says no idea if Mike Dodds will get the job, but he looks comfortable in the role. Looks like he belongs in the job, which I admit was a surprise to me. It was to me too. David says, did Roberts need a little rest? So he put Barr on. To be fair, Barr was the weakest link in the side on Wednesday night, and it was good that he addressed it as soon as he had to. So for me, Dodds' substitutions were a lot better than Tony Mowbray's. Was that the case for you, Jack?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everybody could see that Barr wasn't having a good game. He gave it away every time he got it. He just was physically getting bullied by the Leeds defenders. But he realised, 60 minutes, if it might not have even, that might have been later, 55, 58 minutes, whatever it was. He recognises it, realises that Patrick Roberts is a better player on the ball than Barr is. He's got that trickery to get in behind, and he changed it, and he made an impact when he come on. Often you were scratching your head with some of Tony Mowbray's, substitutions. He would bring Bradley Dack on, which, as we well documented on this chat, not the best option. Another thing I want to mention as well against Leeds, I've criticised Luke O'Nien a lot, but I thought O'Nien had a good game on Tuesday night. I've slagged him off enough on this podcast, and I've said what I needed to say, but I'm not beyond giving him praise when he played well, and I thought he was solid. And he had a really good game, so credit where it's due, because it's sort of gone full circle with O'Nien, hasn't it? He was the player that the fans loved for months, and now he's the player that the fans are loving to hate a bit. So give him a bit of praise, a bit of credit where it's due.
Can I just say, if you're 1-0 up against Leeds, your substitution is never Bradley Dack. That's the only mistake Dodds has made, in my opinion. Don't bring Dack on.
Well, Jacob, I mean, the back three, I thought Seat and Ballard, I know Nine all had good games, to be honest. I mean, I was surprised how good Seat was at the back, but what was your thoughts on the goal? If you watch the goal all the way through, some really good passing movements towards, apart from the bubble in the box, and Pritchard controls his header. It's coming to him at a pace, and he's realised what he's done, and he's controlled it and passed it forward to Job.
Well, that's the big debate. I mean, I've seen a few comments on social. Did Pritchard really mean it at the time? To be honest, I'm not sure whether he thought that ball was going to come into him, ricocheting off his face and fall into the path of Job. But credit to Job, right place, right time. He's done it better than all four of the current forwards we've got at the club so far this season. And clattered into the keeper in the process. But if you don't gamble, you don't score. And that's exactly what he done.
He's an intelligent lad, Job. I mean, he made that run, was amazing. If you watch Pritchard, he actually stands and holds his ground. He knew where he was directed. He was kind of maybe taking a chance somebody was running in there, but it was perfect. So, I mean, Mike, what was your thoughts on the goal itself? If you watch it back, I mean, a lovely little flick from Pritchard as well. He gets the ball, I think, from Job. He flicks it through as well earlier on.
I think it was completely intentional. That guy can't do anything wrong as far as I'm concerned.
Pritchard
knew exactly what he was doing. No, but that's what you want to see. What Job did is what we've wanted to see from players at Sunderland for ages. It's your likes of like Defoe and Bent, person in the right place, the right time, poaching goal, absolute poaching goal, but he did it perfectly.
He shows a lot of intelligence, definitely a lot of intelligence. Jack, who was your man of the match?
There's so many, to be fair. I think, albeit Bellingham got the goal, it's easy to give it him out. I think you're probably going to have to give it a defensive player, considering how well we shut them off. I'll probably go. It's between O'Nien and Seal to me, so I'll probably go Seal. Close. O'Nien had a good game as well, but I'll probably say Seal. For him to come in not played much football and show the discipline and awareness that he showed and nullify Leeds, one of the best attacking teams in the league. I think you've got to give him a lot of credit for that.
What's your thoughts on Pritchard's is sort of dead balls? The last 2 games have been a lot improved, I think.
Yeah, I've noticed that because it was him that put the corner in for the one that hit the post. Who was that had that headed? I can't remember who it was that had the headed. The keeper tipped on the post in front of the south stand.
Ballard, I think.
Ballard,
that was a superb ball in that. He put whip on it. It was exactly the right height, and bar a stunning save, that would have been another assist from him. And that's what he. I mean, it's well documented, isn't it? He's experienced and he's a bit of a leader on the pitch, isn't he? In terms of organising the attack and play and telling players you need to be moving there and pass it there. But you can't put a price on that little bit of quality on the ball. For me, I mean, I know that his fitness isn't always the best, and people have said, "Oh, it can only last 60 minutes," and sometimes he fades in games, but when he's on it and he's having that sort of game whereby he's not deadly on the ball, but his quality on the ball really shows, and it can make such an impact for you. So yeah, he's been the one major difference for me from the back end of the Mowbray era to now.
Out of the 3 games, which is your favourite goal, Jack? Which was your best goal out of the 2 games? Sorry,
it has to be the Dan Neil one. I know it was a bit of a mistake from their player, but Pritchard, I mean, that's another thing as well. Pritchard, to see that ball and play it, he made it look like an easy ball, but it wasn't, because he's running quickly. He's got to slot it through about 2 defenders and into the right area. And then obviously Dan Neil runs onto it, and for him to show the little cheekiness, if you like, but executed as well. I mean, how many of our players, past and present, would have just smashed that and it would have gone over the bar at the keeper? He has the awareness to wait until the keeper goes down and then a little dink, Thierry Henry style over the top of the keeper. It was a fantastic goal.
Yeah, back on the chat, Nick Quinn says, if Mowbray wasn't allowed to start Pritchard, how did Pritchard start against Leeds? Maybe Mowbray just didn't want to play Pritchard. We've got Emma says on 09 front. The first time ever on Saturday, I saw Luke lead the team and see him constantly shouting and pointing for the first time. That's good. That's what you want from a captain. Conrad Tank Pritchard meant it to put it there. Another great assist. That's Palmas Mackham. Agrees as well. Cushion and header. Then we've got Jimmy, who says Job is a footballing Einstein. David, we will give Pritchard an extension. Hopefully we do. I mean, we've got to keep Pritchard in the January window. I mean, we'll go back to Jacob. Jacob, out of the 3 goals, which was your favourite goal, and how much is Pritchard making a difference?
Huge difference, mate. I think the players respond to him being on the pitch, and the whole team just look, particularly in the final third, looks more likely to hurt the opposition's back line with him there. It's just like what Jack highlighted, his intelligence in his game is second to none at times. I remember in the first half where he got the ball just outside the box. He had the opportunity to thread a through pass to the runners who were running in behind him, like Clark and Barr, but he decided to have a shot and go for the far corner. That's what we need for someone who's going to be in that position. Alex Neil? Was that Alex Neil? Geez. Alex Pritchard, sorry. Alex Neil, who was sacked by Stoke, by the way, earlier in the week. Alex Pritchard, yeah, he can do that. Just an overall fantastic, intelligent footballer, bags of experience. And don't forget also, he's played in the Premier League as well compared to some of the other lads we've got in our side. And if we can tie him down for, I think he may be out of contract next summer, correct me if I'm wrong, but if we can tie him down on another year, if we're depending on what division we're in, because of our promising position at the minute, we've got every chance of potentially going up this season, considering we are 6th, then yeah, you tie him down. It's a simple experience added to the current squad.
Man of the match, Jacob?
Man of the match Tuesday, like the lad I've just mentioned, Alex Pritchard. Brilliant intelligence, willing to take risks, and also got an intelligent assist, whether he meant it or not, for the goal. Led to a very big 3 points.
Exactly. Mike, what was your favourite goal out of the 3, and thoughts on Pritchard at this moment in time?
Job's goal in the Leeds game, purely because, like I say, it's that poaching I've want to see. It's that intelligence and a striker in the right position that I've wanted to see for a while. So that's given me the most hope, sort of thing. Pritchard, I've always rated. I think Pritchard and Roberts are the absolute core foundations of the experience in our squad that can bring all the young lads on between them two. And I think them two should always be on the pitch when fit and able, in my opinion. And to the fact he's got all 3 assists speaks for itself. But despite me loving him, man of the match for Leeds was Ballard. I think he was an absolute stonewall. One of the Leeds lads, don't know who it was through, and he just stood there. It looked like the guy just bounced off him, and he just walked away with the ball. And as soon as that happened, I sent a picture of a car that had gone through a traffic post and got completely stopped. I said, "This is my definition of Ballard." So yeah, he was man of the match for me.
I think it was great both games, to be fair. But like I say, Pritchard, my man of the match against Leeds. Jacob, you want to be in?
Yeah, sorry, didn't answer your question before, Terry. My favourite goal from the 2 games, one assist that he definitely did mean. Our second goal against West Brom, the ball that Pritchard fed through to Dan Neil from the outside of his foot was absolutely tremendous. And the dink over the keeper, wonderful, absolutely wonderful. It was very esque football, fluidity style of football we did for that move that led to the goal.
I have to say, all 3 goals, I thought Ballard's header was superb to break the deadlock, and the keeper, and I just looked helpless in the corner. Just a fantastic assist from Pritchard. It was a free kick in and Ballard's flick. Ballard just showing how good he is at this moment. I mean, he's like Mike says, a tank in defence, and how good is he with his head? Absolutely brilliant. So back on the chat, we got Philip Emerson. My apologies to say Dodds wouldn't do any good. Surprised me. Maybe keep Dodds till January, see how it goes. Give the board more time. Fair comment. Tom looking at Tommy Watson in the under-18s, and what a player he is at 17 years of age. He's a star being born. I think he's doing really well, isn't he? But we'll move to Bristol City now. So he's got 6 points out of 6, Dodds. His 3rd game in charge. Bristol City are on the other kind of sort of the edge of the form. Well, Leeds were on fire. Bristol have only got 1 point in 4 games. They've got a new manager. Liam Mannon's only won 1 in about 6. So they're not in great form. They have been losing a few games, but only won by 1 goal. Jack, what's your takes on the game on Saturday?
Yeah, I'll just want to make one more point about the last couple of games, if I'm okay to do that, Terry. I thought, one player that we haven't really mentioned on the whole podcast, Jack Clark. And I think that in a way is a good thing because of how reliant we were earlier in the season on him, weren't we? At times we were saying who's going to score for Sunderland if Jack Clark doesn't score, who's going to get an assist for Sunderland if Jack Clark doesn't. So really, in a weird way, the fact we haven't spoken in 2 games without him really having that much of an influence, I'm not saying he's played badly, but I think is a good thing because it shows that we're not sort of a one-man team in a way. Do you know what I mean? We're not reliant solely on Jack Clark creating something or scoring something, as we were probably looking at earlier when we were doing these podcasts earlier in the season. We even said it, didn't we? If Jack Clark doesn't score or do something for us, we're struggling. So I thought it was good that he wasn't involved in a weird way, if you sort of know what I mean.
Yeah, that's absolutely spot on.
Yeah, but just moving on to Bristol, it's a difficult one because I agree with what everybody said about going sort of solid at the back with the 3 centre backs and then the 2 wing backs, if you want to call it 5-3-2 or a 3 whatever at the back. But Leeds are a different animal to Bristol City. I think as tight as we were defensively, I don't know if that would be the right way to go again at Bristol City because, I mean, I don't mean to be arrogant, but I wouldn't say that Bristol City are any better than us in the same way that I think probably Leeds are on the ball. So do you then go for at the back and then which player do you drop? Does that mean that Seal drops out or Luke O'Nien drops out? So you would have that to contend with. So I think that's going to be the big one for me, formation. I think if you do go for at the back, it'll probably unfortunately have to be Seal misses out, even though he had a good game. And maybe another man in the middle and go 4-2-3-1. So maybe with Ekwa, bringing Ekwa back in the middle and playing him as a holding alongside Dan Neil potentially. So that would be what I would do. But it doesn't need major changes because we've played really well the last 2 games.
Do you not think though, Jack, against Leeds, I thought we had the better chances. I thought we kept them quiet, but it had the better chances. Could we not still create those chances with the same formation?
We do, but I think it was because Leeds are very quick. We're a very quick team, and not just quick on the ball, quick transitioning from defence to attack. So we needed the extra bodies. We needed to be tight. I don't think Bristol City have that threat, so I don't know if playing the 3 centre backs would necessarily be needed. I think this is a game where we're more likely to have more of the ball in their half. So I think you'd be better pushed to have an extra man sort of in the middle maybe, and with possibly Pritchard dropping in as a 3 with Ekwa and Neil, and then having Bellingham up front as your main man again. I don't know. That's possibly where I would go, but I wouldn't make too many changes. Like I say, we have played well the last 2 games, as we've discussed. Right.
Back on the chat, Tom Wallace says it'll be interesting to see how Dodds sets up against a team who sits in rather than West Brom and Leeds, who are more attacking. Again, that's a fair comment. Colin Major, my man of the match for me was Ballard and Bollard. Lads. Okay. Ben Allison, Ski 2020, says man of the match was Jason Seat. Exactly. For me, Jason's probably the one, the easiest one to drop rather than Luke O'Nien, Luke O'Nien being the captain. But Jacob moving on to Bristol. I mean, there was an interesting point what Jack said to do with Jack Clark. We all said last week we're one-dimensional. We don't give the ball to Jack. We just tippy-toeing around the outsides, and Jack creates everything. But we looked at different kettle of fish in the last 2 games. So what do we move forward? Do we just make one change, like drop Barr and bring in Roberts, Jacob? What?
I think that's what you'll do on Saturday too. I think it's pretty clear that Barr won't be starting based on that first half display he showed against Leeds. I mean, we're starting to wonder what is Barr's best position at this moment in time. I think he may need a spell out for him to regain confidence again, and he'll find his way back in, but I think it will take a matter of weeks. I think Roberts, even though it worked with the energy brought on coming off the bench on Tuesday, I think in terms of the extra bit of quality we need in the final third, because that's probably our weakest position right now in terms of what we've got in depth and the lack of experience we have. I know Pritchard's been filling in that role recently, but he's not meant to be that sort of player at all. He's meant to be playing in behind the striker. I think Roberts injecting the trickery and quality and skillfulness in that final third of the pitch. I think Bristol won't be able to handle it. I mean, I'm very confident going into Saturday's game with the way we've been playing, particularly the last 2 games, but it is away from home, and away from home this season we've been sceptical, which is worrying to see, considering the fact that, you know, we were tremendous on the road last season. It was our home form that let us down, but it's switch roles this season, hasn't it? But yeah, I think with the way we've played and the run of form Bristol City have been on, we should be okay on Saturday.
Champion, one of my sources has just been on saying that Jimmy got an interview on Monday gone. I don't know if that's already been mentioned on the chat or what, apparently, allegedly. But we'll move on to Mike. Mike, what's your score prediction as well? We'll go for score predictions first with Jack. What was your score prediction?
I didn't give one. I didn't give one. I think... No, I'm going to be positive. I think we'll win 2-1. I'm going to be positive.
Champion. And also we've got, all right, Colin Major says it means Ballard is a bollard. Of course, I get it now. I'm just a bit thick. Jacob, what was your score prediction?
You know what? I back another clean sheet at the weekend. That's if we stick with the back 3, which I think we should do. So I'm going to go with another 1-0, a bit like Tuesday night.
Right, so Mike, what's your take on Bristol? What changes do we make? Same formation, or do we just change the one Bar for Roberts?
I'd like to see. I think Dodds is trying to prove a point, even if it's not for this role. It's just for his managerial career in total. So I'd like to see the fact that he's going up against a team that's 15th and, you know, won 1 in the last 9 games. I'd like to see him set up more attacking. It'd be nice to see 2 up front like Job and Mayenda next to each other. You know, how he does that, whether he goes old school Mike Bassett 4-4-2 or whatever he does, I'd like to see a much more attacking formation. My score predictions 3-1 win.
3-1, all right. I want to say a big thank you to everybody on the chat tonight for all your comments. Don't forget to smash the thumbs up. Get 100 thumbs up. My score prediction, I'm going for a clean sheet. I'm going for 2-0 to Sunderland. Clean sheet, 9 points out of 9 for Dodds, and give Speakman something to think about. So, yeah, thanks for all the comments. Thanks for joining tonight. Do you want to say goodbye, Jack?
Yeah, thanks for everybody for tuning in. It was, as I always say, it would just be 4 blokes chatting to themselves if we didn't have an audience. We didn't have people sort of giving us feedback and comments. So, yeah, and I'll see everybody later, lads and lasses.
Thank you. Jacob?
Yeah, I hope you have a good evening, guys, and in the build up to Christmas, a Merry Christmas also. And as I always say, keep the faith, son, until we die.
Mike?
Yep. If you've not hit that like button, do it now before we go off. And if you're new to the channel, hit subscribe. Loads of content coming through December. Thanks for watching.
I want to say a big thanks to the three lads joining tonight. Great conversation as always. I love a bit of chatting about Sunderland, and also to everyone who's tuned in tonight. Take care. God bless me. God go with you. Hopefully 3 points on Saturday. We'll see you later. Thank you.